just to go back. What? I need fuel. This thing was empty just the other day. Like, I'm gonna tell you something. This little truck of mine spends a lot of fuel. Now I'm out of fuel. Anyway, I wanted to kind of talk to y'all about a conversation I had earlier with a gentleman, how he did a hoarder house, him and his wife, and they took 3 days to do it. It was a $4,000 job, and how it took him 3 days to do it because him and his wife did it themselves. And the question he was asking me is how I do these huge hoarder jobs in just one day or a couple of hours and get it done quick. And this is kind of what I want to talk about right now, right? I want to talk about that. So let's get into this video right now, guys. My name is Ricardo. I'm the owner of junkguysdfw.net. I also own 2 haunted houses, one in the Dallas and one in the Fort Worth area. God bless the soul. God bless me so much for that. Thank you so much. Let's talk about that idea. He did a hoarder house and he was making $4,000. I think he said $4,000, and it took him 3 days to complete the job. And I'm going to be honest with you. He said that the first day he did 3 loads, the second day he did 2 loads, and the third day he did 2 loads. So entirely he did 3, 5, 6, 7 loads. And I told him how much each time he was going to the landfill, how much it was costing him. And he said $125. And I started doing my math in my head. I'm just thinking in my head really quick. He did entirely 7 loads. So he's close to almost $1,000 right there, just spending that money going to the landfill so many times by himself. But see, guys, here's what as a junk removal company, we're kind of invisible to the fact that we forget things. We forget a lot of things. And we tend to forget the things that cost us money. They're like invisible, like they go away or something, right? Like, hey, they never existed. Let's just pretend like they're free. For instance, I'm going to tell you a few of those things, guys, and it's honestly time and efficiency. There is a huge value for time and efficiency in this business, a huge value. And you're thinking, oh, what are you talking about? I can do a hoarder house in one day. Well, there's a lot of companies that can, and a lot of companies that never do it. I always hear companies do huge jobs in one day. A lot of companies do huge jobs in 2 days, 3 and 4, and that's where it disappoints me. Because the bigger the job is, and the longer it takes you to do it, the less money you're going to make. The clock is ticking, right? And in this gentleman's case, he said that he only made $2,200 off the job. And I was thinking, well, what's going on here? Well, the landfill where he was dumping at is about 40 minutes away. And it's not that he priced the job right, and I think he priced the job right, but he could have contracted the job to someone else and made money. But that's not what I want to concentrate. I want to concentrate on things that he did wrong. He did wrong. First of all, him and his wife did the job together. Now, I don't know how hard of his wife she is of a worker. And I don't want to devalue women because women are the greatest thing on the earth, right? But the fact is that she is not a professional junk removal loader. And he, the gentleman, is not taking the equation that he could have got a gentleman to work harder, somebody else, a man to load faster. And I asked him on the phone, I said, brother, I mean, does your wife work hard? She goes, yeah, she's a hard worker. I said, does she work hard like a Mexican guy? Like a Mexican guy that's going to kill himself for you? And he was like, no. She works hard for a woman. And I was like, okay, that's the difference. That's a big difference. Because the longer he stayed on this job, the more money he was chipping away, okay? He was chipping away. Let me wipe this camera down really quick. Here's my wipe down camera crew, okay? And as I'm talking to him, I'm realizing the mistakes he was doing the whole time. And the fact is this: if a job takes you longer to do, the less money you're going to make. The smaller the profits get, which is really, really disappointing. He was mad because his $4,000 job got cut down to $2,200 because of the drive time. Can you imagine? He got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. He loaded his first trailer. Then he had to drive 45 minutes to the landfill, come back, load another one, drive another 45 minutes. Oh, guys, see, that's where it's invisible to us. We tend to forget that you have to drive back. You have to drive back. So it's 45 minutes to get there, 45 minutes there. In one day, if he dumped 3 times, think about that. He almost spent over 5 hours and 30 minutes just driving back and forth. How much work is there to be done when you're wasting all that time driving back and forth? And that's what he didn't understand. And then there's this thing called, here goes, are you ready? Here goes. It's called fuel. Fuel costs money. It's not cheap. All right, it costs money. And the more that you drive, the more that you spend. And that's all he did was drive. That's all he did was drive a lot. He drove a lot and he spent a lot of fuel. And of course, the many times that he dumped, so we averaged that, he was spending $125 every time he dumped. He dumped 7 times. So you do a little math, that's close to $1,000 So he spent $1,000 of the $4,000 that he got paid for this job just by dumping. Just by dumping. But I'm going to tell you, the killer wasn't dumping. The killer wasn't the fuel. It was time and efficiency that he lost. He could have been more efficient if he would have hired a gentleman to do the job with him. He could have been better off if he didn't have to drive 45 minutes out of the way. He could have done a lot of things better, but for some reason, he decided to eat up all that $4,000 and do the job himself. Now, in my case, here's what I would have done. Okay? I would have subcontracted that job to about 4 companies. Okay? 4 companies. And I would have paid each one of those companies $400. Do your math. That's $1,200 right there. Okay? No, I'm sorry, that's $1,600. I wouldn't have to do any loads out of this. They would have had bigger trailers. Oh, by the way, his trailer, here's the killer part. His trailer, it's a 12-foot trailer. Can you imagine him doing that many loads with a 12-foot trailer? How much? All the guys I hire have 16-foot trailers. So think about that. He didn't have to do the work. And that's where I come in. When I come in and do these jobs, I always do them in one day, and I always subcontract these jobs. It would have cost me $1,600 to complete a job like that, because I would have paid each guy, each 4 of the companies that I use, $400 a piece. And since I use 4 of them, that's $1,600. A lot easier. I wouldn't have to do any of the loads, and all I would have had to do was manage the whole area. And that's one of the problems that he ran into. That's one of the problems that he failed to do properly, is manage the whole job. So when you stay into a job like this and you do a hoarder job or a huge cleanout or an eviction, something big, be prepared that the longer you stay at that job, the more you're going to lose at that job. You always want to complete the job in one day. Now, evictions are different, okay? Evictions are different because you'll go to an eviction and you have to come back the next day to complete it. But you never want to do an eviction where it takes 2 days just to put the stuff out on the sidewalk and then come back the next day and pick it up. You understand what I mean? You never want to do that. You always want to do the eviction in one day, put it out there, and then complete it. I know people that took in 2 days to put the stuff outside. Yeah, it's that bad. Guys, we got to think smarter in this industry. We got to think smarter. We got to be more positive in this industry. And we have to teach people and the new entrepreneurs that are new to this business how to do it properly. Because right now, we're not doing it right, and we're not doing it correctly. Okay? And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. I'm here at a cool house that I'm going to give an estimate to. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.